I remember the beginning, not as a blur but as something so vivid it lives behind my eyes. You didn't enter my life like lightning. You came like a slow sunrise, gentle and bright, pulling me from the cold without force. There was something about the way you looked at me, like you saw all the pieces I kept hidden, and loved me anyway. I had walls, layers of fear, uncertainty, scars from people who didn't know how to stay. But you didn't try to knock them down. You waited. You showed up. Day by day, brick by brick, you proved that love doesn't have to hurt to be real. Your laugh became a melody that replaced the noise in my head. And your touch was warmth I didn't know I needed until you gave it without question. We weren't perfect. We stumbled. We fought. But we stayed. And that's what made it love. Not the butterflies, not the highs, but the way we reached for each other in the lows. You became my calm, my home, my safe. And through every moment since, I've held on to that feeling, still holding on to you. Time passed, like it always does, sneaking around corners and slipping through the cracks of our days. But even as years folded over us, I never stopped seeing you like I did in the beginning. There's a quiet fire in you, strength that doesn't roar, but holds steady through every storm. I saw it in the way you listened, really listened, even when I had nothing new to say. I felt it in your arms when I was too tired to hold myself together. We built something real, didn't we? Not out of grand gestures or perfect moments, but out of the ordinary. Coffee at sunrise, long drives with nowhere to go, falling asleep mid-conversation just to wake up beside each other. The magic wasn't in what we did, but in who we were when we were together. You taught me that love isn't about never falling. It's about choosing to stand back up together, hand in hand. You gave me something to believe in us. And even on the hardest days, when the world felt too heavy, the one thing I never questioned was this: I am yours, completely. I still am. Do you remember those late nights, when the rest of the world slept and we whispered dreams to each other in the dark? I do. I remember the way your voice softened, how even your silence made me feel less alone. We talked about the future, not in grand visions, but in small hope. A home with light in the windows, laughter in every room. Love that didn't end when the sun came up. And now, looking around at everything we've survived, I see that we built those dreams one heartbeat at a time. It wasn't easy. There were days when love felt like a question, when we held our breath and wondered if we'd lost something we couldn't name. But even then, we didn't let go. We reached across the silence, stubbornly, lovingly, choosing each other again and again. That's the thing about us. We don't run, we hold on. You, with your quiet loyalty. Me, with my restless heart. Together, we made a home out of each other. And I still see you, still love you, more deeply than words will ever be able to explain. I'm still holding on, because you're still the one. We've had our fair share of storms, haven't we? Moments where words failed us, when the only language we spoke was the ache of misunderstanding. But even then, especially then, you never stopped showing up. You never made love conditional. When I pulled away, you reached close. When I doubted, you believed enough for both of us. And that's what makes this love rare. It's not a fairy tale. It's something deeper, something lived, something worn into the seams of our day. I've cried in your arms more times than I can count, and each time you held me tighter like I was never a burden. You made me feel seen, not the polished version of myself, but the raw, flawed, scared parts too. That kind of love changes a person. It changed me. With you I've learned that love isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about staying, even when it's hard. It's about holding hands not because it's easy, but because it matters. And if I could go back and choose all over again, I'd still choose you. I'd choose us, through every crack and scar, because even in the breaking we've always been whole. I think about all the versions of us, the early days filled with nervous smiles, the passionate fights that left us breathless, the quiet Sundays that wrapped around us like a second skin. We've lived so many lives together within this one love. And yet, no matter how we've changed, one thing remains. Your love grounds me. It's in the way you remember the small things, how I take my tea, the way I like my music a little too loud, the fact that I need silence when you pay attention, and in doing so you've made me feel important in a world that often forgets to look up. You've become my favorite sound, my safest space, the one I turn to without thinking. Life hasn't always been kind, but with you I've never walked through the fire alone. That matters more than anything. You once told me we were unbreakable. I didn't believe it then, but now, after all this time, I do. Not because we've never cracked, but because even when we did, We chose to repair each other with love, and that's what makes us stronger than ever. When I close my eyes, I still see you the way you looked at me that first time you said I love you, like you were offering the most sacred truth you had. It wasn't loud, wasn't rehearsed, just honest, just you. I carry that moment everywhere, folded into my memory like a favorite letter. There have been times I've been unsure of many things, life, purpose, direction. But I've never been unsure of you. Even in silence, your presence speaks volumes. There is safety in your touch, peace in your gift. You bring light into the darkest corners of my mind, reminding me that I am not my past, not my fears. I am loved, deeply, truly, by someone who knows all of me and still chooses me. That kind of love, it's not just rare, it's extraordinary, and it's ours. Every morning I wake up and see you lying there breathing beside me. I am reminded that the world can be chaotic. But we are not. We are constant. We are still choosing, still growing, still forgiving, still holding on. And I promise you, my love won't fade with time. It will only deepen. We've built a language all our own, one that lives between glances, gestures, the way your hand always finds mine in a crowded room. We don't need to speak to understand each other. That's the beauty of this bond. It transcends the noise. When I'm with you, I don't feel the need to explain myself. You get me. The messy, passionate, overthinking, dream-chasing soul I am. And you never ask me to shrink. You hold space for all of it. And I hold space for you too. For your silent worries, your tired eyes after long days. The way you carry responsibility with grace, but still wonder if you're doing enough. Let me say it clearly now. You are enough. Always. Your love is enough. It has been my anchor when I was drifting, and my wings when I couldn't lift myself. In a world obsessed with more, you've taught me to value what lasts. You are what lasts, what matters. And if I had to live this life 1,000 times, I'd search the stars for you each time, hoping I'd be lucky enough to find you again. I always would. I always will. There's something beautiful about the way we've grown, not just individually, but together. We've changed, and that's inevitable. But our roots have only grown deeper, entangled in trust, laughter, and thousands of shared moments. Love, I've learned, is not static. It breathes, evolves, stretches, and sometimes aches. But with you it has always remained alive. We've gone from reckless young hearts to partners who know the weight of promise. And yet every now and then, I still feel that rush, that teenage kind of love, when you smile at me across the room. Time has only made you more beautiful to me. Not just in the way you look, but in the way you live, love, and lead. Watching you grow has been one of the greatest joys of my life. And being loved by you has been my greatest gift. You've shown me that love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means finding someone who helps you become more of who you already are. And for that I thank you every day. I still hold on, not because I'm afraid to let go, but because what we have is worth everything. Some nights I lie awake and replay the quiet moments, the ones most people would overlook. The way you absent-mindedly reach for my hand in your sleep.